Just a quick sound check, guys. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Just let me know. Good. Oh. Just let me know. Good. Turn the sound off. I was just watching a couple of videos before I came live. I'm hoping that I don't buffer this evening because it's windy. And whenever it's windy, my internet goes a bit funny. So if it does buffer, I will stop and start again. So you will have to go and have a look. There won't be a thumbnail. So you'll just have to go and check on the live. So I have to finish at 6 because of Thorne's injection. Quickly say hello to everybody. Hi, Stephen. I know you said that you might be a little bit late, but thank you for leaving that message. That's lovely. Hi, Elle. Lovely to see you. Diz, hello, my love. Kirsty, hello. And Validate, hello. I know Billy said he can't be here this evening, so he dropped me a message on a video that I posted earlier. I think it was either a video or a post or a short, I can't remember. It's been a bit of a busy day. But I just want to say thank you once again to absolutely everyone who supported me, congratulated me on the race that I did on Sunday. It was hard. It was really, really hard. Sorry, I'm not happy with the camera angle. Just bear with me a second. I just want to adjust it slightly. There, that's a bit better. Have I recovered from my run? Pretty much, Kirsty. Yeah, I did a 3.7 kilometer yesterday. Just a short, slow, very slow, very slow. So I'm trying to cross my legs and I can't underneath this desk. Well, it's actually a table, my old dining table. It's one of those old-fashioned ones, you know, that's thin, a bit like a console table with the leaves. And when you open it, it's huge, so I use it as my desk. I have got another desk, but it's tiny. It's just not big enough. So yeah, I did a 3.7k yesterday, and today I did a 4.48k, I think. And today I just ran for the joy of running, and I absolutely loved it. It was so nice to just not have to think of a goal in mind, like how far am I going to run, what time am I trying to do it in. The one thing that I did do was on the downhill sections, which are not that steep compared to what I was running over the weekend, I did widen my steps. Something that I'm going to have to be very, very aware of in the future and do some training on. But this week I am just having relaxing runs. I am going to be doing sorry, my mind's just gone completely blank. If you can hear any strange noises like rattling, that the aerial that's on the side of the house, pigeons like to get on there and bonk. So, and it always makes a racket. So if you hear a strange noise, it's them. So yeah, with my running, I am going to have to do a lot more training, but this week I'm just taking it easy. I'm doing stuff that I like and, just taking it easy. I've got a lot of stuff to add in my upcoming training. I'm away this weekend, so there will be no Sunday live stream unless I can get signal where I am. Signal has improved there in recent years, but I'm in North Yorkshire at a place called Thornborough, which is close to a village of Thornborough, Nosterfield and West Tanfield. It's sort of within that area. So if anybody is in that area, it is open for the daytime. And yeah, you can come along and see what pagans do. Skeletons warming up for Halloween. Well, the thing is, I have my skeletons up all year. I don't actually take them down. I don't see the point. It's like the orange, somebody thought it was an orange tomato. It's actually a pumpkin, a hanging pumpkin thing. I just didn't put it away. And then above my head, there's a ghostie as well. And then hanging on my window in front of me, there's like cut out bats and trees and ghosties and witches and spiders and things like that. I'm a witch, what can I say? Every day is Halloween, as Peter Steele said. Yeah, bonking pigeons, Diz, definitely bonking pigeons. And I've got skeletons hanging outside as well. And I've got 2 skeletons by my front door, a boy and a girl. I've got a gigantic spider, massive one, that I just leave up all year. I even decorate her for Christmas. Her name, of course, is Charlotte. So yeah, you think you could see the beginning. Is that of the race, Elle? Was that when I was that short that I did when I was running and I was like, it's steep? Yeah, it got steeper than that. That was quite mild of an incline. Some of the run, oh, yeah. My time was not as good as I'd hoped it would be, but I finished. I was hoping for 140. I did it in 144.44. I didn't finish last. I was third from last, so I'm pleased about that. Because I did think I was last the whole time, but I kept hearing voices behind me, and I thought, if they're last, I need to go faster because I don't want to be last. I don't want them taking over me. So, but when you got to a certain part of the race, the trail for the 22 kilometre and the 15 kilometre joined. So all of a sudden there's all these runners zooming past downhill, and I'm having to move to the side because obviously I'm blocking their way. You know, these guys are just amazing. But the one thing that I will say is that so many of them that ran past me said, well done, keep going, it's not far. And this was from women and men. And to be honest, it was mostly men that were saying it. And I was thinking, wow, you know, because I think I was probably the biggest and possibly the oldest woman there as well. So I was, you know, like completely the sort of encouragement that I got from, not just from the other people in the race, but also from the marshals and the organisers. It was brilliant. It really was brilliant. And yeah, I was thinking, no, I'm not going to do this again, but yeah, I am. I am going to do it again. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to try and get through to there once a month. It's not too far from me, really. It's a 40-minute drive. So, and it's very picturesque. So I can take some sandwiches and put them in my car and do a run on that sort of area and get used to it so that next year, when it happens, I'll be a little bit better. Hi, Stephen, you've joined us. Visitors politely dismissed. Oh, dear. Thank you, Stephen. Bravo on my run. A winner for just completing. Yeah, I tell you something. There was one point as I was going uphill at the start that I thought, you know what, Debs, just turn around and go back. Just go back. You can't do this. And then I thought, no, because you're doing this for 2 reasons. Well, a few reasons, actually. One was to prove to myself that I could do it. I'm very driven and very goal-oriented. And sometimes I take my time at getting to those goals, but I had to do it, proving to myself that I could do this. Even though I was absolutely exhausted afterwards. I really, really was. I mean, I do 10Ks at least once a week, but it's pretty much like that, you know, and then coming down like that. It was a mountain. And yeah, I'm going to do it again. Definitely going to do it again. So with that extra training, knowing now what I know from having done the run, yeah. Guys, if you're watching, please give us a like. It'd be really great if you could give us a like to sort of, you know, up the channel a bit. Also, if you are able to share this on your socials, that would be really, really great, trying to get more people to come and view the channel. And just a quick plug before I go on and discuss the topic of the day. I am doing an interview live stream with Regan Elite on the 2nd of October. Yeah, because the 3rd of October I'm getting my hair done. I was supposed to get my hair done on Friday last week, but I had to cancel due to an appointment that ran late, and I wasn't feeling that great. And I think I was very stressed about doing this run, and there were a few times when I almost pulled out and thought, no. And then I thought, you know what, you've paid for this because you have to pay an entry fee. And you want that medal. So you want that medal to add it to your collection, which I did. It's now hanging in my kitchen. I've got a blackboard, and it's hanging on I've got my medals hanging on the sides of it, so on either side, trying to balance it out. I would let you know when my next run, I need to book it, but I'm away this weekend at Thornborough. As I said, it is autumn equinox, or Mabon, as they call it. I don't like calling it that because Mabon was a god, and he actually has nothing at all to do with the autumn equinox. So yeah, I did it for my dad as well. You know, I wish that he was still here and that he could see what I've done, because my dad was very, very into sport. Not that he played in his later years, but he did used to play footy and cricket and all sorts, and swim. I mean, he taught me to swim, but he was never a runner because my dad was quite stocky. So I'm tall and was lanky. You know, that's the main thing that I need to work on, I think, for my running, is my nutrition. My nutrition is dreadful. So yeah, I did it for my dad, but also a friend of mine who's a drummer said to me, just imagine me drumming you along. And I thought to myself while I was running, I thought, well, you're going to be drumming doof, 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 not the usual. So yeah, I was slower than I'd hoped, but even the people that were on the path, because there were a lot of dog walkers and things as well, because it's obviously a public place, were so, come on, you can do it, well done, you've got this far. And I think because I'm a bigger lady and my age, they were really, really lovely. When you see the skinny fit people run past, it's like, oh, of course they can do it. Let's have a look. I looked so chuffed and had a cheeky wee smile in the photo after I completed it. I did. I was so happy. I really was so. I had to ask people to take a photo of me because there are photos of me on the run. I have to go and choose which ones I want, and I will get them copied and stuff. So I will post them. But I must admit, I don't look great. I'm like, sweat, hair. It's an interesting journey we are on with you, Witchy Goth, and appreciated. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I try to talk about different things because I have a lot of different interests. And although politics is generally what I come back to, misogyny and femininity, feminism is sort of my main focus. And I did release a video today telling you what I'm going to be doing in the next couple of weeks. Hi, Billy. Bye, Billy. Billy's over on the Bin podcast tonight. That's it. That's what he told me. So yeah, your choice. But I get my hair done the day before interview, not after. It wasn't an interview. It was I booked that because it's Friday, and then the following Friday she's busy, so I've got to go the Friday after, which is good because it means that I've got I'd get it done before the interview if I could, but she only works Fridays and Saturdays, and I don't like doing Saturdays because it's too busy, so I go on Fridays. But it's okay. I have the spray that hides the grey, so if not, I'll just wear a hat or something. Who looks good running? Popping over from the bin. Excellent vid, this Arvo. Thank you, Billy. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I really appreciate it. Who looks good running? Some people do. Some people do. Careful, Witchy. Photos of you on the run sounds like you're in trouble with the law. Well, they'd catch me. I don't run fast enough. Especially when you run into the toilet. Now, then I run fast. And thank you for, it is disturbing, Diz. The topics that I'm going to be covering are going to be incredibly triggering. So Some of you may not want to watch them, but I think it's important to discuss these things because of the far-right rhetoric. Andrew Dreadful Tate, well, yeah, he's, yeah. I've done a whole series on him. It's 4 parts. My Andrew Tate expose, which you can go and watch. It's in one of my watch lists, Andrew Tate. There's Andrew Tate that I've investigated, and then other Andrew Tate videos that I've found that I've linked in there so that you can go and watch them as well. So, yeah, but I did do a 4-part Andrew Tate expose because I couldn't fit it all into one. It would have been too long and it would take ages to upload on my phone. That video this afternoon took nearly an hour to upload. This is why I desperately need to get proper equipment and programs so that I can do it on my laptop and, you know, edit more professionally and have a more professional thumbnail, and because I know that my my images are very grainy. When I sometimes watch back on my TV, you know, I think, oh, that looks so bad because it's so grainy. Run to the toilet in 2 ways. Yeah, definitely. Stephen, been following them. Witchy, keep digging, appreciated. Well, I actually follow a guy called Gadget. If you don't know him, he's absolutely brilliant, and he is actually being sued by the Tates for the uncovering of all of the journalist investigation that he's done. He's Australian, great bloke. His real name's Nathan something. He was interviewed by 60 Minutes Australia about it, so it's definitely worth checking him out and his videos. Diz, we need to push back against the far right. They are on manoeuvres. They are. And that's, yeah, there's Gadget. Yeah, I think I know some of you already follow him. So I was watching a video this afternoon, well, about half an hour while I was putting my makeup on, I was watching a video. And it's a guy called Kissin, K-I-S-I-N, Konstantin Kissin. Now, he's right-wing. Never heard of him before. I don't follow the right-wing press or media, you know. I did at one stage, but I stopped because it was just, I would get too angry. The things said by them are very concerning in interviews. Can't imagine I can repeat it in chat. No, you know, I use alternative words. Grape, SA, DV, SV, and words like that. He is an idiot. He's a clever idiot, though. That's the thing. He's very clever at where's this gone? He's very clever at conning young lads, and that's a whole issue on its own. Oh yes, here's little Spike. Spike says hello. Hope you're all having a good day. Sorry. Very disturbing, Elle. Yeah. He is very disturbing. So, this Konstantin was interviewing various people at the Patriot rally, whatever you want to call it. Unite the Kingdom. Well, I've got a problem with the Unite the Kingdom thing because they weren't uniting the kingdom. They were uniting the far right. But what also I found from these interviews that I've seen, various interviews, was that a lot of the people that they were talking to were just normal people who were there because they feel disenfranchised. And I can understand that. I can completely understand that. I mean, you guys know that I left the Labour Party earlier this year. I have joined the Greens. That is my choice. They are still a left-leaning party, but I believe that they have more of my interests at heart than do Labour, and I would rather help them become elected or at least get more seats in Parliament. there are a few things that Labour are doing. We all watch Phil, we all watch Graham, that are good. But as Phil and Graham both say, their communication is absolutely useless and they need to sort that out. Whereas Zach Polanski's been on so many programs and shows, he's got his own podcast that he does. I mean, you know, we need people like that. We need, it's okay, me and Phil and Graham and Regan Elite and, you know, the rest of us, Supertansky, talking about all of this stuff, but it's not getting out to the bigger, wider sort of world out there. That's why I ask, please share if you can. That would be awesome. So we need to get these messages out there that Labour have done things that are good. But then you've got the far-right agitators like Farage who bring up the boats, bring up the racist issue because they know that that is a card that they can play. They know that they are playing to people's emotions. So this Konstantin Kisin guy was interviewing people, and he interviewed 2 ex-squaddies, veterans, and one was white, the other one was of Caribbean heritage. I think his dad was Caribbean, his mother was white, and they were both in the army. And they were, now the guy that had the guy that was racially mixed was saying that he experienced racism back in the 70s and 80s, and he remembers how bad it was, and when he joined the forces he was bullied and so on and so on. I'm like thinking to myself, yeah, but that's what's happening now. That is what's happening right now. And the sentiment of why they were there was because of the veterans that are on the street that are homeless. Now, I did a little bit of research, not enough, about this, but there are about 300 to 400 that are on the streets, but a lot of the veterans do not say that they are veterans when they're on the street. They don't want to say it for whatever reason. And I must say that, you know, I'm facing an eviction at some stage in the future when they knock the house down. I'm just staying here as long as I can, and I will be homeless. I could possibly get council housing, but I won't be able to take my cats, and they're more important. So what will I do? I will live in my tent, and I will look at buying a van, you know, and become a van lifer so that I can have my cats. My life will be incredibly different, but I know, being a single woman, they would want to put me in a flat. Now, I have mental health issues and I would not survive very long in a flat at all. Neither would the people around me. So it would be in a bungalow, perhaps, and again, not being allowed to have my pets with me. They are my children and I will not give them up. I won't. I've been training Thorn today, actually, getting him ready for going away this weekend because he's coming with me because of his injections. Oh, I must tell you, I accidentally stuck the needle in my finger yesterday, so I had to have a chocolate for breakfast. Any excuse, but I could feel it straight away, like it felt so weird. It's not like sticking a pin in your finger. I mean, they're very, very fine needles. It's very, very fine gauge needle, but it's not like sticking a pin in your finger and, you know, it was like all of a sudden the tingling started. I'm like, because obviously, you know, you draw the insulin into the needle and the needle's been in the insulin in the bottle. So yeah, I'm like, okay, better have a chocolate. But then I went back to bed. That was yesterday, the day after the race. So I was like, okay, doesn't matter. Let's have a look here at some comments because I'm losing track of them. Aid met him once and said the same. Yep, I can believe it. And a transphobic as well. Yeah, well, you know, so many people are. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. You know, It makes no sense to me why some people are transphobic. Every single trans person I know is amazing. And I know that some of you on here are trans. And the comments, you know, there's never anything horrible from you guys. You're all friendly with each other and it's wonderful. And I just don't get why there has to be this hatred. It makes no sense to me. Got to have been at least 50 chanting it so appropriate to their cause. I'm not sure what they were chanting. Misogynism personified, most definitely. Two wrongs don't make a right. Yes. And that's something that I do want to talk about. Mithril, hi, lovely to see you. I like that word personified, Diz. Okay, so this guy Constantine was interviewing these two veterans, and they were complaining about the veterans on the street that are homeless and so on. And I agree. Everybody in this country should have a home. Every single person. Look at what they did during COVID. You know, those things that they built that they could get into at night and sleep. You know, little sort of rooms and that for them to sleep in. You know, they have those sort of things at music festivals that are so easily put together. That just makes no sense to me that these people can't be housed reasonably. And I know they're not ideal, but something in the meantime until they can be moved into a proper home. Some people who are homeless and who are living on the streets don't want to live in a home. And that is their choice. I can't remember what show it was. I think it was probably a Channel 4 show. They were interviewing people who lived on the street, and there were this couple who looked very similar to me, very bohemian, sort of hippie, sort of gothy, you know, and they lived on the street and they were really happy. They didn't want to move into a home. They wanted that lifestyle. It's the same as the van lifers that I know. They don't want to live in a house. They want to live in their van. They want to have that freedom. So he interviewed these two guys, completely agree, yes, everybody should have a home. He then went on to interview Ant Middleton. For those of you who don't know who Ant Middleton is, he did the program SAS Who Dares Wins, where he would shout at the people that were in it to do all the exercises and that as if they were going to be part of the SAS afterwards. So they had to do all these things, you know, like lifting logs up the side of mountains and jumping out of a helicopter into icy water and stuff like that. And he's very short, so I do believe he's got short man syndrome. But anyway, his words were, and I need clarification on this. He was saying, we need to get our culture back. He broke Matt Hancock. Well, doesn't take much, really, does it? To be honest, is we haven't lost our culture. We haven't lost our culture. Our culture is all around us. He was saying that he walked into London today and he was looking around and he saw Big Ben and he saw all these places and he really felt his culture. And I'm thinking, well, do you read Shakespeare? Do you watch English plays or read English authors besides Shakespeare? You know, do you eat fish and chips? And that's English culture. English culture is talking to the people on your street. You know, whether you live in a town or a city or whether you live in a village like I do, I talk to my neighbours. Not massive conversations. Some of them I don't know their names. I talk to my postie. Every day I run past him as he's delivering post. You know, he knows that I live here. And just say hello and, you know, off I run. That's culture. That's English culture. How has English culture vanished? I would like to ask Ant Middleton, has he ever listened to Vaughan Williams, you know, The Lark Ascending? all of the composers, British culture, the Beatles. Well, I've been to the Cavern in Liverpool a couple of times. Absolutely love it in there. Always enjoy getting drunk in the day because it's so dark in there. You feel like it's nighttime, and then you come up and it's like bright sunshine. It's like, whoa, because it's open, yeah, pretty much all day. And they keep saying we need to take our country back. From whom? Who are they needing to take their country back from? Max did a good video the other day. I'm sure most of you have seen it. That there's only 4% of immigration comes across on the boats. The rest is mostly students and people who've got visas to work here. And then a lot of the time, students will then get a work visa to stay here afterwards, because by the time they've been here 4, 5, 6 years studying, whatever degree they're studying, they are probably integrated into society and have a boyfriend or girlfriend and want to live here. You know, Robbie Burns, Lowry, yeah, are our culture. C.S. Lewis, Beatrix Potter, Guy Ritchie. You know, I'm trying to think of what Oasis, not my favourite band, but Ozzy Osbourne, you know, Iron Maiden. We have so much British culture. We've not lost it. It's not gone anywhere. Those people up there in power, the Faragers and the Ticers of the world, are stirring the pot because they want us at the bottom to fight each other rather than fight them, because they are the problem. And I know you guys know this. I know you guys know all of this. I'm just hoping that there are some people that are listening in and can go, oh, hang on, maybe that makes a bit of sense, you know, somebody who's not in the chat. I mean, if you do want to join the chat, please do, but please keep your comments respectful. I will converse with a troll, but if the conversation gets too trollish, my moderators will kick you off. So thank you to my mods for that. Because I do have I do get threats, but nowhere near as much as Supertansky does. So, yeah. Also, I mean, she's been doing this a lot longer than I have. She's got a much bigger platform, and I think she's more well known than I am. I'm sort of, you know, a little bit of a mouse, really. Matt Hancock broke himself. Yeah. Mithril, I have a small spare room in northern England. You'd be welcome to come and stop for a little while if you wanted, Witchy. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I will bear that in mind. I've actually sort of got a plan of going up to Scotland. I've got a friend up there who can show me places where I can set up and, you know, have a more permanent thing. And I can get a solar panel thing and a thing for internet and so on. So it'll be a journey, and I wouldn't mind living like that, to be honest. I would love to have a tiny little log cabin in a forest somewhere in the middle of nowhere where I just don't see anybody and can run every day without worrying that I'm going to be harassed by some bloke. Because yesterday when I was running up the hill and some guy wolf whistled. I didn't turn around, I just carried on running. I just thought, number one, you know, I'm a blob. You're wolf whistling at me. I mean, I wear shorts because I prefer to wear shorts this time of year. I get very sweaty. I just thought, why? Why are you trying to intimidate me? Why are you trying to, you know, do that? I mean, as I say, I run up 2 roads. It's not even a kilometre. It's probably about 500 to 750 metres that I run on the actual road. And then I'm off in the fields and in the woods. And the people that I see are all really nice and pleasant. So this must have been somebody who does not live here, because I'm pretty sure that any of the people that live here wouldn't do that. But I just like, why? Why do some of these men, not all men, try to make life difficult for women? Why? I wish I was rich so I could start a women's commune. I actually had a commune when I lived in South Africa, and had some lovely people living in the different rooms with me because I couldn't afford to live in this house by myself, and I had a lot of fun. But I like my space. I do like my space and don't like sharing. I'm sorry. Just that's me. Love watching Slow Horses with Gary Oldman. Got the far right types on there. There is nothing wrong with being proud of your country, nation. You should be, and a welcoming society is a rich society. Culture starts with pride. Surely the rest is learned. Absolutely, absolutely. The rest is learned. I'm proud of being English. I really am proud of being English. But at the moment, I'm not, because I see these people saying these things, and not one of them can turn around and say what they really are. Why can't they say the R word? Who is S? Hi S, lovely to see you. You're going to see Eddie Reader soon. She was lead singer with Fairground Attraction. It's got to be. Love that song. I've actually signed up for tomorrow for the pre-sale tickets for Echo and the Bunnymen. They're playing at Nottingham Rock City next year on the 1st of April, so I might go. I'm just going to see how much they are. It's just Rock City has no seats, so you've got to stand, and it gets really hot in there and really crowded. What have I missed? English culture, church bells ringing, people mowing their lawns, picnics, afternoon tea. Yes, I'm not a royalist. Not a royalist at all. My mum is. I have my thoughts on that. But why can't these people say what and who they really are? It's as if fish and chips, definitely. Fish and chips, most definitely. Definitely fish and chips. I agree. I have seen some images and videos and footage from the rally, march, protest, whatever you want to call it, over the weekend. There was a woman, I'm sure you might have seen the pictures. She was quite big. She was wearing a little bikini top with Union Jacks and a red fluffy jacket and a cowboy hat and Union Jack trousers. Oh, okay. Sorry, phone telling me stuff. And I was laughing because they were interviewing, this Kissen guy was interviewing her, and I thought, why? She's there purely to cause a stir. Don't know who she is. Maybe she has an OF account, but the men were queuing to have their photo taken with her. So that the flag shaggers have got something to shag over besides the flag, because she's dressed as a flag. So anyway, S, if Witchy doesn't take me up, you'll be welcome here too. Diz, I'm not a royalist up the Republic. Yeah, I don't. The royal family, they're just a trinket. That's all they are. They're just a trinket and a waste of our money. We shouldn't have to pay for them. The young ones, I'm going to write a letter to Echo and the Bunnymen. Dear Mr. Echo. Good old Rick. Yeah, I used to love the young ones. I really did. I used to love them. When I lived in South Africa, it was when the young ones were out, and we used to get it recorded and sent over to us on VHS tapes. And I played those tapes over and over and over again. Just proud to be British. Hi, Scott. Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining. They were brilliant. They were absolutely brilliant. No, it's a roller disco. And they had The Damned on, which I loved. They had Motorhead on, which I loved. Did they have Madness on? I think they had Alexi Sale on, didn't they? Because he used to be in some of the shows. And then he also was a driving instructor from Transvaal in South Africa, and that was a really good skip because Transvaal doesn't exist anymore. It's now called Gauteng, and the drivers in South Africa are really bad, really, really bad, just dreadful driving. Yeah, I used to love that show. That was something that, Dex's Midnight Runners were on as well once. I remember them being on. But I just loved that. It was a brilliant show, absolutely brilliant. Sort of like my growing up years. I don't know what he's like now, but I loved Ben Elton in his alt comedy days. Yeah, I've read a couple of his books as well. A bloke that I was dating years ago, he was a massive Ben Elton fan, and I think he wrote books. I could be mistaken, but I know he lent me a book and I enjoyed it. So I can't remember the name of it, but it had a green cover. It was paperback. And I think it was Ben Elton. Anyway, coming back to yep, Madness played in the pub. Richie asked if they could play Cliff Richard, Suggs, you hum it and I'll punch you in the face. Thin Blue Line, yeah, Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean, absolutely love him. Not the 9 o'clock news. Used to watch that before we moved over. That was out before. I mean, I was a kid. I wasn't even, I think I was about 10, 11 when that was on. Yeah, used to love Rowan Atkinson. So coming back to the march, okay, Elon Musk. Let's talk about Elon Musk. What the fook? How dare he say that civil war is coming? How dare he tell people to fight? He's a boer. Kirsty knows what I mean. He's an Afrikaans dus. And why is he sticking his oar in and backing Titchy Tommy? You know, I'm sorry, Diz, yeah, we have to. He says it's because he's funding it. Yeah, he is definitely a boor. Have I seen his dad? Oh, yeah, I've seen quite a few interviews with his dad, who married his Elon Musk's stepsister, who he, what's his name? I've forgotten his name now. Oh, I've forgotten his name. Kirsty, remind me what his name is. I can't remember. Errol Musk, that's it. He married the stepsister of Elon Musk. She was very young when they adopted her, when he became his stepdaughter. So he basically groomed her and her entire life to be with him. And the Tates think he's brilliant as well. Musk's brilliant. Another dangerous shit stirrer, sticking his nose in because he's rich and bored. Yeah, definitely. And they are all deviants. And these are my thoughts on Musk, that he grew up in apartheid South Africa. He went to, I think he ended up going to Jeppe Boys High. He went to two schools. One he left, I think, because he was bullied. I can't remember now. I have talked about this before. And then he went to another private school. So he was privately educated. What's the one in Lyndhurst area, just past Edenvale, round Joburg? I can't remember the name of it. So, in my opinion, he wants to go back to a world of apartheid, where people who are not white are there and people who are white are there. And I think this is my own thought on it because of what I know from having grown up in South Africa and he needs to march to Pretoria and stay there. Yeah, he does, definitely. Because he was from Pretoria, wasn't he? And then I think he went to school in Pretoria. Was it Pretoria Boys High that he went to? And then he went to, I can't remember the name of the school in Joburg that he went to. I can see the uniform. I can see the uniform. That comment that his dad made, he's not racist, he was friends with the staff. Yeah. Which they would have called the maid and the garden boy, the girl and the boy. They would, that's what they would have called them. They would have paid them a pittance. They would have treated them like absolute dirt. They would have probably beaten them with sticks. And I had a domestic worker that used to come and work for me when I had my own business, when I was staying in Edenvale. Because I had a business on the front of the house and then the back of the house. And I couldn't keep everything clean. So she came in twice a week and I paid her. You know, I paid her. She was lovely. She was really, really lovely. So yeah, I miss that luxury of having somebody who can come and clean my house because my house is filthy. I'm really not good with housework. My dream as a young person was to make enough to retire off somewhere and enjoy my time. What is it with billionaires? For fuck's sake, they're not all there. No, they're not. They're not all there. Musk's speech was out of line that he said did kind of confirm the theory going around extinction burst. I suggest you look it up in relation to what's going on and not where the term originates from. Yeah, the Great Replacement theory that they are saying because a lot of white women now are choosing not to have children because we don't want them. We don't want to be married to men. Which was part of what I was saying in my video earlier on today, is that I'm going to be doing this series called 1 in 4, because every 3 days, a woman in the UK is unalived by her partner or her husband. That's femicide. So a lot of women, since the sort of 70s when feminism really took off and we were allowed to buy our own houses and we were allowed to, you know, open our own bank accounts and start working and all of those things, women have turned around and said, no, I don't need to be married. That's not my dream anymore. You know, when I was a little girl, I used to dream about getting married in a dress and the veil and all the rest of it. And I didn't actually got married in pink. Well, I was handfasted, so completely different thing. It was a very medieval style dress with sleeves and stuff. And Stephen, your OCD and good rates. Brilliant, mate. But I think you live on the other side of the country to me. Don't you live up north, like past the border? We have a choice for the first time in recent history thanks to birth control and the recognition of marital grape. Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Joe. Lovely to see you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. And thank you for your comments as well. Really appreciate them. I've not had a chance to reply to everybody. And a lot of people I've just said thank you to because I had a load of comments on my Facebook as well. So you'll grab a taxi. Brilliant. But I'm not paying for your taxi fare, I'm afraid. You get married on the weekend. Oh, wow. That is amazing. Congratulations. That is absolutely brilliant. You're going to have to put some photos up on your posts, Jao, so we get to see. Are you having a traditional wedding? What is the, you know, the sort of, it's just brilliant. I think it's brilliant. There is nothing wrong with being married. There isn't. I thought I was happily married until I wasn't. And now I'm happy on my own. And I have no intention of being with another man in my life. Just more cats. As in all weekends. I'm not sure what you mean there, Joe. No pictures. You're not really getting married, or sorry, just clarify that for me. Have I everybody's congratulating you and now I'm not sure. Sorry if I've got the wrong end of the stick. Yeah, I'm confused too. So women generally don't want to get married. A lot of women have been harassed by men their entire lives. And so, like I say, yesterday, running up the street, somebody wolf whistled me. It's the first time it's happened in a very long time. I will admit that, you know. But I don't need it. I don't need that, a Portuguese expression that means I get together with my girlfriend on the weekend. Okay, right, got you, Jao, thank you. Lost in translation, very much so. Right, I shall remember that for next time. So a lot of women didn't want children either because they wanted to carry on the career ladder. And this great replacement theory is that the people of colour from the southern hemisphere that are moving up here are here to replace us and to populate and so on and so on and so on. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I think that men just need to do better. When I was young, I never wanted kids. I said that I didn't want children because the world was overpopulated. And a lot of people in my generation, Gen X, said the same thing. I think it was after the movie Threads and after When the Wind Blows and all those sort of really dark movies around the time when, you know, the Berlin Wall and the Cold War and the threat of nuclear war and so on was about. And it was like, I don't want kids because I don't want them to come into this world. And then when after I did get married, I did fall pregnant, but I unfortunately miscarried. And so that's one thing that I do regret that didn't happen. But I'm, you know, sort of past that. So I've done my grieving on that. And I have my little altar and offerings for her that I go to, special place that I go to. So women are realizing that they don't want to be with men. And I mean, even women from the Southern Hemisphere, you know, in Africa, many men will have more than one wife. They'll have 5, 6, 7, 8 wives, and they'll have who knows how many children. And they go away and work and come back every now and again. And these women have to look after the children by themselves. When you look at the Middle East, women wearing burqas and, you know, jihad, the word's just gone out of my head now. I can't think of the name. It's really annoying me. Thank you, Kirsty. Thank you. I share a lot. So sorry, I should have actually said trigger warning before that. And these women go through FGM. That's female genital mutilation. In other words, they cut the button off of the woman. And it's very painful, and they are scarred for life because they believe that the woman should not enjoy intercourse. They marry girls at 12. So I believe, my beliefs are that a lot of the people that come here are trying to get away from that, are trying to get away from that culture. And it's, for me, the world will not be equal until all women are equal. And that means all women. Yes, women have a choice. If they want to wear a burqa, they can wear a burqa. If they want to follow that path in their life, they follow that path in their life. Now, the other thing that was coming out this weekend was we're a nationalist Christian nation. I would love to know the last time that Tiny Tommy was in a church that wasn't for a wedding, a funeral, or a christening. I would love to know when any of those people on those marches and those protests were last in church. I was probably last in church, you know, more recently than they are. I respect the church. I'm pagan, but if I am going to a church, I respect the religion. I am a minister and a celebrant, so I have conducted hand fastings and naming ceremonies and passing ceremonies, and I respect all religions, all beliefs. What I don't respect are certain things that are done out of context because of many of these religions being patriarchal and being misconstrued from the actual word that was in the document, whether it is the Talmud, the Bible, etc. We aren't Christian, we're pagan. Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I'm pagan. And pagan, the Druids were around way before Christianity was. And you can look at Ireland for that. The St. Patrick going and chasing the snakes out of Ireland. The snakes refer to the pagans, because there was a huge culture of paganism in Ireland. There were different sort of groups that worked. Three different groups: the Tuatha De Danann, the Fomorians, and the MacMannans. I think that was the name. I think that's the name. They were, in fact, got the book right here. The Magic of the Celtic Gods and Goddesses. I was using it the other week. So yeah, the three different sort of groups of the Irish Celtic belief. I mean, then we look at Scotland. Scotland, we have the Cailleach, we have Scathach, we have all the Scottish Celtic goddesses. We look at Wales, we have Rhiannon, we have Arianrhod, we have Bran. And Bran was actually a god who forced out armies from Britain, from the United Kingdom, and his head apparently is buried where the White Tower is in the Tower of London, and it faces south, and the ravens are there to protect the monarchy, and they actually clip the raven wings so that they don't fly away, because the saying is that if the ravens fly away, the monarchy will fall. But yeah, Bran's head is supposedly buried underneath the White Tower, or the White Tower was built where that was, it was very mythological. And was it real? Will we ever know? Sorry, my conversation's gone all over the place, but yeah, England was a pagan country. Look at Stonehenge. Look at all of the stone circles around the UK. Look at Thornborough-Henge. There's no stones there anymore. Look at Arbor Low in Derbyshire. Those stones were flattened. Avebury. All of these stone circles were erected by our pagan ancestors. And when the Christians, well, it was Constantine, wasn't it, in Rome, who was pagan, then decided he wasn't pagan anymore. So because he used to self-flagellate, so he was very much into, right now, I'm going to, all the world now needs to become Christian. And so he went into the different countries in Europe and, Christianized everybody, and sort of we fought against it. And the Nordic countries were the last to switch over to Christianity. That I think it was about 800 Common Era that they sort of moved over to Christianity, but their nation is one of strong pagan beliefs. I have quite a lot of friends in Norway and Finland and Sweden, and they are all pagan. But then again, I listen to a lot of metal, and I know a lot of musicians from around the world, and they go to the pagan camps. One day I will get to go to one of those midsummer festivals in Norway, I hope. So yeah, this Christian nationalism, it's all a lie, it's all fake, it's all false. It's all being stirred up by those in power, those who want to be in power, the rich, the Musks, the Farragers, the Murdochs, the Peter Thiel, all of those people, the billionaires of this world, we are their pawns. That's it. We are their pawns, and they are pitting us against each other. And with the Charlie Kirk thing, oh, there's my alarm. Sorry, I forgot to turn that off. 1800 hours. Sorry, bit of music there. With that whole thing, you know, initially Trump blamed the left, then it was the right, and now nobody really knows, and there's all these rumors and all sorts of things going on. What's the problem? Guns. Guns are the problem. Sorry, just going to have a sip of water. I do, the way he was unalived, the way that happened was horrendous. I do have empathy for his family. However, after having seen her speech that she gave and the all of the sort of signposts that were around her, you know, she was wearing white. She had a black shirt on, but she was wearing white, sort of saying, I am angelic, I'm a good person. She was standing at a lectern, the empty chair next to her where he would have sat, the MAGA hats on the table, the picture of Trump on Time magazine, the turning point, was it turning point symbol instead of like a cross? I mean, that speaks of, what is the word I'm looking for? Just trying to make it about something else. So they're putting the left and the right against each other. Now, this Kissin guy, this Konstantin Kissin, he's a reporter. He's got his own channel. I can't remember what it's called now. It's a daft name, but it's really clever. Trigonometry, that's it, with 2 G's. Trigonometry. Trigger-nometry. And he was saying, oh, the left were the ones that were causing problems at the protest, but they weren't. You could see the Sun had the footage. I was watching it live. It came up, the Sun. I'm like, I knew that was going to kick off because half of these guys go there to get drunk and have a fight. What's more British than getting drunk on a Saturday night and having a scrap outside of a pub? There's our culture. Then going and getting a kebab and puking up on the way home. There was another picture that I saw as well of they were all sitting on some war memorial, and in front of the memorial there was somebody had puked, and there were bottles and there was rubbish, and there was like the men standing urinating against the walls of the shops. And I just think that is our culture. Do I want that culture? Not really. Don't really want that culture. It's sad. It's really, really sad that the country has become divided again. And there are many, many reasons why it has been. But I think that, you know, we have to try to educate those people that are being swayed by the flag. I love the flag. I do. But it's been hijacked by the far right. It has been hijacked by them, and they are making it an issue with people who, like me and you. There's a story that I'm going to be recording later on this evening about a young Sikh girl that was raped a couple of days ago by 2 white yobs. Yep, it was racially motivated. Sorry, I should have put a trigger warning there. This is what is happening. The civil war that Musk claims is coming from this invasion that is imaginary is being caused by them on the right. It's being caused by the racists, and they won't say that they're racist. So many people were interviewed. I've seen stuff on Lewis Goodall's show. I've seen other, I think it was Politics Joe were interviewing people. I've seen so many different people interviewing, and they were just, they won't say it. Well, you know why. No, I don't know why. Why? No, you know why. Why won't they say it? They have free speech. Their free speech has not been taken away. Why can't they admit that they are racists? Because they know that it's wrong. They know that it is wrong to be a racist. But they want everybody else to be the same as them. So, you know, they just can't admit it. They just cannot admit that word and say it. But we know, but they need to admit it. They need to say it. They need to own it. They have free speech. Musk had free speech, inciting war, inciting violence. Lucy, what's her name? She had free speech and incited violence. And they have free speech. But be aware of the consequences of that free speech. You know, if you are going to say something that incites violence and is against the law, then there are things that are going to happen to you. I'm going to come to some comments because it's gone 6 and I need to feed my cats. Mithral, one relationship, 7 years and a daughter and now a grandson to show for it. I get on well with my ex and I'm very much at peace with myself. Wonderful. Scotland Scorpion, hello, welcome to the channel. I'm sorry I didn't see your name come up sooner. Thank you for joining us. Stephen, he probably, oh, hang on, that's just all gone. Let me have a look. Sorry guys, everything's gone funny here. I hit the wrong button. Oh my goodness, Pete's Music is here. So many of you guys have joined. Thank you so much for joining. Please, if you have joined late, just give us a like. Sorry, I'm going back up the comments here to find where I was. Where I am. Okay, there we go. He would probably melt inside a church or lightning bolt would strike him. I often think that, being a witch, that, you know, I'm going to step in church and the lightning bolt's going to strike me. We started, especially in Scotland, as a pagan country. We did. Well-worded, witchy goth. I've no idea what I worded there that was well-worded, Stephen, but thank you. Jow, I was raised Catholic and pagan and never had issues about it. Religion is a simple thing if you do not complicate it. Exactly. It doesn't need to be complicated, does it? I have one of my best friends in the world is Jewish and we have no issues at all. I love her to bits. Absolutely love her to bits. Are all pagans angry or is it just the one? Elle, I think, you know, yeah. We can be angry about things, can't we, when we need to be. Last time I was in a church was for my dad's funeral. He had MLK's I Have a Dream speech played in full. First time there was a Black Power salute made in their little church. That is amazing. That is amazing. The Ravens guard the gates. Yes, they do. Oh, naughty me, late to the show, been rewiring your home studio for new synths. Ooh, you just purchased, you got carried away. Hope you're all fine. I think everybody in the chat's fine. Isn't the highest of all gods a goddess, I will gladly stand corrected. Yes, in paganism, we view the goddess as she is the being of life. So it's quite complicated. I'm going to have to do some videos on this. The goddess always lives, the god dies, and then is reborn. So the god dies at Lammas, 1st of August, when we have the first harvest festival. It's where the Wicker Man comes from, where we burn him. And then he is reborn again at Yule as the young god, which is where paganism and Christianity we say stole a lot of the pagan beliefs and sabbats, because it was a way of getting the pagans to celebrate Christianity. But that's a whole other sort of conversation. But yes, the goddess is the being. So whenever we work in circle, the goddess is the high priestess who embodies the goddess. She calls the goddess into her. She is the one that is in charge of the ritual. She is the one that is in charge of the circle. She is the teacher, the mother, the daughter, the crone. She is everything. The god is just there because he's a bloke and he has to do his bit. But it's balance as well. It is balance. There's a lot more to it than that. I take you to Sweden midsummer, and you're half Swedish, Jessica. Hi, Jessica. Lovely to see you. That would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. I've seen that film and I know that it's just all blur. Pete's there. Lovely to see you guys. Oh, I'm so glad you guys joined. Why the F was JD Vance doing his podcast not enough to do? I don't know. I didn't see that. Elle, who's this? I was distracted. I've no idea. I see lots of chatting. Yeah, football hooligan behaviour. Absolutely. Absolutely. Those hooligans were kicked out of the football thing because they all know which people they were, so they're not allowed to buy tickets and so on. So now they go to the far right rallies. Your mum says you look like a somber Viking the older you get. And I tell her, Mum, I ain't tall enough. Some Vikings were short. They weren't all tall. Where are you from? Earth. I'm a human being and you live on land. Damn fish coming on land and trying to evolve. Is that from Hitchhikers? Pete's music. Laddish behaviour appalls me and always has. Hated footy, etc. 70s pished guys fighting on the terraces and peeing on each other. No tart. Yeah, and that is still there. That is still there, isn't it? That is still there. I'm taking it that those 100% are a yes to it being from Hitchhikers. It's a very long time since I read those books. Oh no, it's done its thing again. Sorry. Yeah, my cats are going to be starving, except I forgot earlier on. I went to go get ready and I left some of the cat's biscuits out on the side. I came back downstairs, there were pukes. He just went and chowed it all and puked. Gonna jump ship. Wonderful. Cats will be starving. Take care, Stephen. You were unpacking shopping and then putting some sausages in the air fryer. I thought you were going to say you were waving sausages in the air. That would have been interesting. Yes, welcome to the channel, Scotland Scorpion. Thank you for joining us. And mushrooms, sausages and mushrooms. Oh, sounds good. I'm having Chinese stir fry that I made the other day, and I just sort of parceled it into 4 lots. Oh yeah, I think I try to be inclusive of everybody. I'm very, very open, and I welcome anybody, even trolls sometimes. But if they get too trollish, we boot them. You've been peed on at a football match. Ew. Gross. You're welcome. You're welcome, Scotland Scorpion. Joe, you saw a person getting beaten up in a football match some years ago and it just vaccinated you never to go to a match ever again. Diz, I foxed the enemy, never went to a game. I've been to some football matches. I went to, because I'm from Doncaster originally, and when they were knocking down the old stadium, I went to the last match with my cousin, and they won. Doncaster won. And my cousin said to me, well, you can come again because you're obviously a good luck charm. I'm not a fan of football. Now, give me a rugby match or give me a cricket match. Love it. That's the years of living in South Africa, I think. Can't deal with it, no patience. Yeah, I don't have patience either. You know, sport is sport. I mean, I used to play hockey, I used to play netball, I did long distance swimming, and you know, I loved team sports, but I prefer solo sports. I prefer being on my own when I do my stuff because I just get that space in my head to do what I need to do. Ellis Park Cricket Grounds, yes, and I saw Metallica, Kirsty, at Centurion, when they played at Centurion in Pretoria. But yeah, I used to sit, not on the grass slope, but on the stands next to it. Can't remember the name of it. It wasn't Castle Corner because that was further round. So yeah. So yeah, Ellis Park. And then I also saw some football and rugby at Standard Bank. I don't think it's called Standard Bank anymore. But I also went to Loftus in Pretoria, saw some rugby there. Yeah, I did enjoy going to those sports in the middle of winter when it was freezing cold, sitting in the stands in the shade because the sun's so low. Right, guys, I am going to have to get off, and I know that Regan Elite is live now, so please go and join him over there. Don't forget that on the 3rd of October, I will be on Regan's live stream. No idea what we're going to talk about yet. We sort of haven't really, you know, discussed anything as yet. I'm sure we'll know closer to the time. Fishing is a good solitary sport, and when you are as bad as I am, there's little chance of hurting fish. Well, Mithril, there is a fishing lake just behind my house, and every day I run past it and chat to the guys fishing. Always say hello, because you know, there's a lot of the same ones, but I also know the guy that runs the fishing lake and looks after it. So oh good, I'm so glad that you've all found each other, all you Scottish lot. So Pete's music is Scottish. I've got Kirsty, you are Scottish. There's quite a few Scottish followers on here. Yes, I'm going to have to go and feed the cats, Kirsty. Right, martial arts, you've been practicing it since you were 8 years old. Wow, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Right, guys, I really have to go. Have a fabulous evening. I'm going to try and go live on Thursday evening. I have to pack my car and get myself ready on Thursday for my camping trip over the weekend for Mabon, autumn equinox. So I will let you know. I'll probably put up a thumbnail. And if I need to cancel, I'll let you know beforehand. But I'm sure I can fit in an hour in between packing the car and stuff. So have a wonderful Tuesday evening and a wonderful Wednesday and Thursday. Blessed be. Mwah.